Did you just start TRT and are wondering how to change your workouts? Watch this.
All right, our first caller is Ben from Nebraska.
Ben, what's happening? How can we help you?
Hey guys, thank you. Thank you for taking my question, and I really appreciate a lot of the information you guys put out, and it's kind of really helped me a long way. So, my question is in regards to TRT treatment and how to properly diet and train for it. More on the diet side. So, I guess a little background for me is I'm 6 foot. 235, 240, about 17% body fat. I'm 25 years old. And kind of over the past years that I've been listening to you guys, I started to really learn how to try and optimize my body, trying to figure out the ins and outs. And one of the things that I've really kind of picked up on was testosterone, and you guys are pretty big advocates of testing and checking your testosterone. So I went through a lot of those processes. My first test was over a year ago. It came up really low, and it was in the mid upper 300s. And I was like, okay, so I need to do the right things to kind of put myself in a better situation. So I did those things, fixed my sleep, diet, training, all that stuff, and kind of felt like it should be in a better place. Tested again, came back lower. It was in the 200s actually then. And then that's when I went to seek help. I actually decided to go through the MP hormones and went with Dr. Todd, and so I felt like that was kind of an outlet I could trust better. And got all my blood tested, and it came back a little better that time, but he sat down with me and kind of went through everything. And it was actually pretty nice because he went through things that my doctors never would have. But kind of the bottom line is when we went through everything, we found out like when it comes to like diet and everything that I've been doing is just been doing perfectly. It's just I have low testosterone and I just don't produce enough. So, started on got me set up with treatment, and I started it on this last Sunday on the 17th, I believe. And I kind of just more or less wanted to learn about what's kind of the best ways to like optimize like the process of like starting testosterone, because I really feel like over the past years I just struggled to lose body fat. I just couldn't do anything to fight it off. And I feel like understanding that like I don't produce enough testosterone, I felt like it's more or less like I've been a plant that's just constantly being sprayed with like weed killer and just not growing, not thriving. And I finally got the opportunity to get a little fertilizer and get really growing. And I feel like this is going to be a really good kickstart for me in my progress. And I just really want to know what I should do diet wise, mainly because I'm trying, I guess my goal is to shed down a lot more percentages on my body fat. That's like the overall goal, and just for longevity. So I'm kind of curious on where I should start while starting TRT.
Yeah, good question, and a very common one. And this is TRT is actually quite common nowadays. I've said this on the show, but testosterone levels have been dropping in men pretty consistently decade after decade for like the last 6 decades. So not quite sure what's going on. We think there's multiple factors, but it's definitely an issue. And low testosterone in men is, or even in women, but in men in particular, it's quite devastating. It's a hormone that is a driver. It produces dopamine, makes you feel motivated, and of course it contributes to muscle gain and then indirectly to fat loss. But a lot of people wonder, like, what do I change now that I'm on TRT? The same things that you do to build muscle, burn body fat, and be healthy when you're not on TRT is the same things that you would do when you're in TRT. Nothing changes. The advice remains the same. Now, the only thing that changes is that now your hormones are working for you and not against you. So what you'll probably experience is better muscle gains, faster recovery, the fat loss because of the muscle gains starts to respond a little better. And usually what it looks like is this, and I'm going to go off of the studies, okay? The studies show that men on testosterone, even if they don't work out, build muscle and burn body fat, but the fat loss is the secondary effect because of the built muscle and the faster metabolism. So what you'll notice at first is more muscle and strength gains, but then as that kicks up your metabolism, then the fat loss starts to kick in. But nonetheless, all the stuff that you did before that was good and that works and that is based in science, good programming, good nutrition, is the same stuff you're going to apply today. And I do want to say I'm happy that you went through nphormones.com, because one comment you made that I want to highlight for other people watching or listening is, if you're not talking to an expert or somebody who specifically works in this, you kind of get brushed off, or they don't really ask you all the questions, and they may have an old mentality where, oh, even though you're within range, even though you're at the bottom, even though you have all these symptoms, we're not going to have you do anything, because that's wrong. We now know that optimal testosterone levels, all things being equal, improves health across the board, heart health and prostate health and all the stuff that we thought.
And it's very individualized too.
It has to be individualized. So, but keep all the stuff you did before that is good and works. Do the same thing. Here's a big mistake a lot of people do. They go on testosterone replacement therapy.
Try and do more.
They overtrain. They think, oh no, I'm going to double everything and I'm going to ramp everything up because now I'm on testosterone. First of all, it's not like a pro bodybuilder taking anabolic steroids. But even then, you have to train your body to build that kind of resilience and the ability to respond to high volume, no matter what. It's not going to jump by itself. So you just do what you've been doing that works, and allow your optimal hormone levels now to work with you. And like I said, what you'll experience is you just started, so you're not going to notice much yet. But usually within, again, this is based off the literature, usually within 4 weeks or so, 4 to 8 weeks, you'll notice an increase in libido, drive. Then you'll start to notice increases in strength and muscle mass. And then as a result of the more muscle mass, then you'll start to see fat loss as the metabolism really starts to kick up.
Now, one thing he asked, though, is if he should continue his cut or move into a bulk. I would bulk right now. He just started TRT. Now, like to your point, his hormones are now working for him.
I mean, what are your calories at, Ben? Do you know what your calories are at, Ben?
It's pretty close to I think maintenance is somewhere around 2,800. I've been kind of playing with it, trying to figure it out.
Okay.
It's really, really hard for me to dial in. I weigh everything out, and it seems pretty hard for me to dial in, but I would say somewhere around 27 to 2,800 is maintenance.
So 27 to 3,000.
Yeah. That's good advice then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't want to put you in an aggressive bulk. I just want to make sure you're getting yourself adequate calories, especially since testosterone levels are optimized
it's like
now.
3,200 calories, 3,300 calories, something like that.
Yeah, on the high end, right? So I think as long as you're giving your body enough of what it needs, because you're gonna be sending the muscle building signal through lifting, and then your body now has the hormones to get to work. Just want to make sure it's fed now. So make sure you hit your protein intake and get adequate calories, and I would do that for a while and just see what happens. And again, when I say bulk, I wouldn't aggressively bulk. I just make sure you feed the body. If you feel hungry and stuff, that could be just because your metabolism's kicking up, your body's wanting to build muscle. So I wouldn't want to deny that right now, right? Like even if you want to be leaner, I think you could actually increase your calories and potentially get leaner along the way, because you'll build some muscle and it'll speed the metabolism up.
Yeah, and just so that you know, I'm sure you already know this, but typically the process is you get assessed. They ask you also questions about your subjective state, how you feel, plus blood test. Then they'll recommend a particular dose, but then you get a follow-up at about 90 days. And that's because it could be very individual. So with increases in exogenous testosterone, meaning that you have to take it externally, you may note what some people will produce more estrogen as a result, which because testosterone gets aromatized to estrogen.
Yes, it's been
so and some people are no problem. Other people are very sensitive to that. So then they would have to look at controlling estrogen more or less. Some people feel better on a higher dose. Other people feel better on a lower dose. And I know some people watching right now are like, what do you mean everybody feels better on a higher dose? Not true.
No.
Not true. There's people that I've talked to say, you know
I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
When I even when I was competing and I was pushing the limits, like I had a threshold. Anything over, I started to get all kinds of negative effects. Like there's definitely a sweet spot for the amount of testosterone that I wanted to take to get the best results.
Yeah, so they're gonna optimize it for you. It's gonna take probably about 3 to 6 months, but in that process, you just do the stuff you know that works, like good resistance training, good diet, high protein, get good sleep. Don't think that you need to bump or change or go aggressive in any direction now that your testosterone levels are optimized, because you'll offset it. It's not magic. You could have crazy testosterone levels and be overtrained and have a bad diet, and you're not going to get anything out of it. I mean, I knew people like this in the gym all the time that would take bodybuilder doses of anabolics and were like, why am I not gaining anything?
You just get puffy from the water.
Yeah, and like your training's terrible and your diet's really terrible. So consider that as well. What's your program? You're following a MAPS program?
Yeah, I'm on currently on MAP Strong. I'm at week 3 of phase 1.
Oh, good. You're doing great, man.
It's been pretty fun. I'm really ready to get down to the lower sets though.
Yeah,
the lower reps because the 15 to 20 reps is kind of killing me. I mean, I just came out of split right before that, so it was kind of high reps to high reps again.
Oh yeah, strong is an interesting inversion of the phases in comparison to the other ones. But
this will be cool when he hits phase 2, because you're almost done with phase 1, right? Is that what I'm reading? You're almost done.
So I got half a week left.
Oh yeah, and you just started. This could be great. I can't wait to hear how you feel.
Literally, like 3 to 6 months from now, things are really gonna start moving for you, because now your body's gonna work with you rather than you working against your body.
Yeah, I really did feel like I was just fighting it, and if I really look back, I was just constantly going against my body, and it just kind of sucked.
And Ben, I can't stress this enough, working with doctors that will continue to fine tune, work with you, ask the right questions, answer all of your questions, because it can be very different from person to person. Some men need HCG to feel, normal in some ways. Other men don't. Some men need more anastrozole, which helps, reduce or stop the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. Then the dose can be too high or too low, depending on the person. So this is all, and it's going to take a little while to kind of figure it out, because you're taking it externally, and so it could take as long as a year to really fine tune it. And you want to work with people that get it, not somebody that's like, all right, here you go, see you later. And then you come to them, you're like, why do I feel terrible? Why am I holding so much water? Or why am I whatever? So you're definitely on the right track. And MAP Strong is a great program.
And you use that forum. I mean, that's why we pay to have them take care of that, is so you guys have access to people that are far smarter than we are, that are talking to you about hormones. So when it comes to anything related to that, they're going to be able to answer questions even better than we can. So take advantage of that. They're in there twice a month answering live questions, and then through the day, every day they're in there answering. So utilize that forum.
Okay. Out of curiosity, how long do you think, if you said I should go in maybe just a little bit of a bulk, how long do you think should I just, if I felt, the problem I guess for me is I always feel hungry. So it's kind of hard for me to hit that. It's not hard for me to hit that calorie goal.
I'll give you two answers. I'll give you one that's more specific and one that's a little more general. The general one is bump it until you feel like, oh, I'm eating a lot. I think I'm eating a lot now and I want to reverse out of it. The second thing is, I think a guy your size, and you're already eating 2,800 calories of maintenance. I mean, 4,000 calories is a pretty good target. I very rarely do I see somebody happy eating more than 4,000 calories a day. It's a lot to do on a daily basis. So with my clients, once they got to 4,000, I would even try to cut them regardless. So those two right there. But of course, it's going to be based off how you feel.
The key is going to be not feeding yourself with trash, right?
Yeah, so good point.
I mean, someone like you, if we were training together, I'd actually kind of let you, hey, you're hungry, let's eat. But I would just say Whole Foods, bro. No, don't. When I say eat, don't go, oh, I'm gonna go have some chips or throw some ice cream or throw some candy on there because I have extra calories to go and my coach is telling me to eat more. I would say, listen, if you are hungry, go get yourself some more steak and rice and veggies, and I would keep pushing that direction, because with you following MAP Strong, your hormones optimized, as long as we're getting adequate rest, everything else is balanced out pretty well. That's your body telling it, hey, I want more calories because I want to build muscle. So I would want you to feed yourself.
Perfect. Yeah, I feel I've spent a lot of time before I even decided to go the route of talking with Dr. Todd. I spent a lot of time just optimizing that little stuff like sleep
Good.
and what I eat, because that's because I mean that's what's gonna, if like if I don't have a real problem, that's the first thing to fix it.
Yep.
So
100%.
Yep. No, you're working with
So
the right. That's why we work with them. That's the only place we pick. It's the one place we pick because of that. So you're in the right hands, man.
perfect. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah.
We're getting a lot of these now that
Dude,
we were working with the hormone clinic.
I tell you what, dude, you look at the data on this. This is an epidemic,
Yeah.
and testosterone replacement, if it continues down this path, it's going to be the norm, because it's going lower and lower and lower in men, and there's consequences.
25 years old.
Yeah.
Well, be honest.
You know, and again, he's not going to get that kind of advice or any kind of guidance from a regular doctor out there. Like, they're not even going to address it because of his body fat percentage, like
his age,
his weight, his age, like all these things are not going to indicate that there's any kind of underlying problem. And so, you know, this is one of those things. It's like, it's great that now we have connections to somebody that actually has answers for this.
Listen, we've been saying it for a long time. We knew it was heading in this direction. I believe we are in the same kind of era as cannabis clubs were, 15 years ago or 10, 15 years ago.
It's all getting destigmatized.
Yeah, there was a big stigma around it. It was sketch, and now it's like your aunt, your uncle. Like,
it's so interesting, because if you go to a general practitioner and you're a 13-year-old girl and you have irregular periods,
they'll
like
give you birth
estrogen, progesterone, birth control. If you have
Right.
insulin issues, insulin.
100%.
You have any other hormone issue. Let's give you testosterone.
Thyroid medication. 100%.
That's why I
It's
think
stigmatized.
that's exactly why I think it's just like marijuana. You go to the
Yeah.
doctor and you tell them you're anxious, or you can't sleep at night, or you have chronic pain. It's like, here's this pill, here's this drug, here's this drug. It's like, okay, or maybe try a little bit of cannabis, see if that helps you. It's like, which one is the lesser evil?
Yeah.
It's so
and just like
crazy.
anything, it can be abused, and also
Right.
and also there can be reasons that are within your completely, and this is often completely within your control as to why your testosterone may be low. So if
It was
you're,
great that he did that, though.
Yeah.
right, and this is why I
I'm
like.
glad he started with
This is one of
that.
my favorite things about mphormones.com is that those people will ask those questions, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're not working out. You sleep 5 hours a night. You eat garbage. Yeah, let's look at that first before we look at."
Especially at his age, they'll
Yes.
always push that direction first at
Yes.
his age. A little bit
Yeah.
different if they're 45, 50. It's
Yeah.
more likely.
But yeah, when you go on hormone therapy to normalize or optimize your hormones, don't change anything. Allow your body to dictate if something needs to be changed. And what'll happen is, yeah, sure, if you start to get stronger, you feel better, and then you say, okay, I think more volume is appropriate. But don't throw the volume at your body before it's ready, because you'll negate any potential benefits that you could be getting.